Hello one and all, and welcome to another RWBY discussion. I'm your only mate, and with me as always is...
Max, Futrades. Hello everybody, it's been a little while now, hasn't it?
Yeah, okay, so we have a few reasons for that.
It's a trifecta, basically. It's the usual... sometimes we have tech issues, and sometimes there's scheduling conflicts. Those can come up from now and then, but... we're not gonna lie to you, a third factor really was the fact that episode 8 was just so dark.
Yeah, admittedly, and that's also kind of why I didn't do a Mate Watches for this episode. Although, to be fair, with the Mate Watches, I also just like to make whatever jokes that I can.
Yeah.
There wasn't really jokes I felt comfortable making from this episode.
And it was also, we just kind of unanimously agreed it was going to be kind of hard to be, jovial. I mean, we could, obviously there are things to be, speculative about and whatnot, but it's just, the whole thing is just dour moment after dour moment. Brief, nice moment with Weiss. Dour moment, dour moment, dour moment. Possibly one of the single most depressing moments in the history of the entire franchise, and then credits.
Yeah, and that moment in particular,
Well, let it be known, we're about to talk about episode 8. We're going to be a bit more brief with it as we then go into episode 9, but yeah.
Yeah, let's just say something that happens is a bit of a touchy thing for me.
So, yeah, technically we've got 2 episodes to go through. We're going to start with episode 8, T admits terrible trouble. And Crunchyroll is really bad at giving this episode a thumbnail.
Yeah, and I will say thank you to you.
Me?
Because... okay, so you watch these episodes while I'm still at work.
Yes. I usually end up seeing an episode about an hour and a half before he does.
Yeah, so I'll turn my notifications off. But I looked... okay, so... I pulled up my Twitter, went to messages. All I had was one from you, and I was just letting you know, okay, I'm just leaving work on my way home, because I do that so we can at least text about the episode after I watched it.
Yeah.
And you gave me a heads up, try and not look at the thumbnail.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more when the actual pertinent information comes up, but yeah, no, and I'm glad that I gave you that warning.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I kind of figured it was going to happen anyway.
True, but it's still nice for it to be a surprise.
Yeah, true.
Rather than just have it be advertised to you. And if they went with the second although, admittedly, had they gone with the second thumbnail, I feel like that would have been less expected.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that one, too. Anywho. Alright, let's get episode 8 done. Let's do this.
Yeah. Alright, so...
alright.
We have the aftermaths of RWBY running away. She sits herself by a tree, has a good cry, but Lissel tries to tell her, it's just hey, shouldn't we go back to the others? Why'd you run away, RWBY?
Why you yell at everybody? I am small and I am confused.
RWBY's just not having any of it. She also just doesn't want Lissel around.
Yeah.
Because...
basically just yelling.
Yeah, and tells Lissel, if you stay with me, you're probably gonna die too. Well,
RWBY's got some serious issues.
While scratching a tree and leaving marks.
Yeah, do you have any idea how hard you need to do that with your fingers in order to leave a mark on a tree like that?
Either RWBY's nails are ungodly sharp, or the tree, like everything else here, is made of paper.
It could be. I choose to believe she's just that intense about it, and I'm pretty sure that's the emotion that's supposed to get by on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, okay, fine. Maybe she's just tearing paper, but I like to think, nah, she's really digging through a damn tree.
To be fair, what do you make paper from?
The man has a point. He do be spitting facts.
Trees. Huh?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Also, while still sad, Little hugging their tail is cute.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no. RWBY just yells off at Little and goes off on her own.
Yeah. And we see a blue butterfly. Oh my god, well... Okay, there's a joke I can make, and it's just about being in the Velvet Room.
I know. It's fun. It's fun. It's like, you're watching this episode, it's like, oh, I could make a joke about that, and then the episode just keeps going. But, yeah, that butterfly is not there for nothing. That is some symbolic stuff right there.
Yeah, I'll get into the symbolism of a blue butterfly in a bit.
Mm-hmm. It even comes up in the next episode, even.
Yeah.
Ruby just kind of keeps on walking. A spotlight goes on her. Not sure if that's meant to be cinematographic or if that's actually the Ever After doing that. I think it's the latter, which is weird. Either way, she finds a big pink mansion.
Yeah, which has spotlights all around it.
Yeah, so the Ever After do be mad weird.
Yeah, and she goes into it, and we see some portraits.
You've either read the book Roman Holiday, or this is all new to you.
Yeah, okay, so I feel like this is framed as just like, okay, you can work out who this is, but...
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But if you've read Roman Holiday, like, you have more context. One of the photos is a child with her parents.
Mm-hmm.
That is Trivia Vanille.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, those not know, that is Neo's actual name.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, Neo is a nickname.
Yeah, well, it's because when she was a kid,
yeah,
and she got her semblance, Neo was like an imaginary friend.
Yeah.
And like the only friend that she had. Her parents sucked, mostly her dad.
Yeah. To put it lightly, we won't get too far into the details, but look, as much as I hate Neo, personally, I ain't gonna say she didn't have a messed up childhood. She did. Doesn't justify anything, but it explains things.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also walking up to a throne with Cinder.
Yep.
And
what's probably the most important photo of all.
One with Torchwick, and you can see two bodies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not too hard to figure out who those are.
Yeah. I guess, should I say spoiler alert for Roman Holiday with what I'm about to say?
I mean, you just did. So, yeah, alright.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah.
Spoiler for that book.
Yeah, no, her parents die at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could have guessed that from the picture.
Yeah, also, like, if you know it's a Neo backstory, oh, she has parents. Given the life she chose, gee, I wonder what happened.
Yeah, no matter what, even if they were good parents or bad parents, it's entirely moot. The fact of the matter is, Neo is who Neo is, so the odds of them not still being around were always high.
Yeah, I will say her dad sucked. Her mom...
Yes.
She was okay.
Okay.
It was at least clear, like, she loved trivia more.
Alright. Well, there's something there. Fat lot of good it did her, but,
Although they were both kind of ashamed of the fact that she couldn't talk and the fact that she had heterochromia.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah, in fact, like the
totally
portrait,
had choices on that one.
In fact, the portrait you saw, like, she has two brown eyes.
Yeah.
They paid the artist extra to not color in her pink eye.
God damn.
Yeah, and whenever they, like, in the rare occasions they take her out, they'd force her to wear a contact lens.
God. Sigh. Well, anywho. Ruby stares at this big-ass portrait of Torchwick and Neo, and Torchwick starts talking. And, okay, there's something I do want to very briefly touch on, like, right here, right now, because I find it personally important. And that's the matter of Torchwick's current voice. And I'm not talking about the controversy thing. That's entirely besides the point. What I want to talk about is the fact that Roman, at the end of this episode, is credited with 2 voice actors, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's because... so this was all recorded before Ice Queendom. Mm-hmm. And they cast Billy
Kometz.
Yeah, Billy Kometz.
I might be saying that wrong, and I apologize profusely if I did.
Yeah, as Torchwick for this volume, and of course because they were dubbing Ice Queendom, like he was planned to come back, and that would have been his debut.
Yes.
But
unfortunately, he has since passed away before he was given the opportunity to do that, and this episode is actually in tribute to him.
Yeah.
And is currently being voiced by Christopher Weckham. So,
who is also the voice of Clover.
Yeah, so I really needed to get that little bit of information out there. Just respect on the name of Billy. Great person, great actor.
Yeah.
And he did good work.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I couldn't really tell it was two different voices.
Oh no, absolutely. I could not at all. It wasn't until after I looked at the credits that I even realized.
Yeah, same.
So anyway, now to get to from real life darkness to fictional darkness. Torchwick comes to life in the painting and greets Ruby and says, "Hey, you made it." And the lights turn on, and Ruby sees all the noteworthy people that have died up to this point.
And Lionheart.
Also him. I find it incredibly interesting they even bothered.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I don't. It's like, I don't know. Maybe they designed the table and they were just like, five people aren't going to be enough. Who else has died? Lionheart. Sure, why not?
Plus, it's free of. It's all the headmasters of the academies that she's been to up to this point. Someone keep an eye on Theodore, please.
Yeah, by the way. But yeah, no, it's Penny, Pyrrha, Lionheart, Ozpin, Clover, and Ironwood. And Ruby is already showing fundamental cracks in her psyche. As you know, I'm gonna be real with you. I think I'd be doing the same.
Yeah, and the one good takeaway I have from this. Okay, first of all, the scene is just like brilliantly put together. I'll just say that much. But in terms of
extraordinarily creepy, extraordinarily creepy.
Yeah, it's nice finally seeing Pyrrha and Maya.
Yeah, that's nice. Got to hear a hello again. Sure, it's
and it's also great to hear Jen Brown as her again.
Oh, yeah, it's just great to see Jen Brown in general.
Yeah.
But
lovely lady.
But yeah, it's in case you're not somehow aware. Neo has been she's able to create flawless replications of anybody she chooses at this point, and she can even talk through them now. Which is just disturbing. So, for lack of a better term, to not get on all of the, the super nitty gritty. Essentially, Neo's ultimate plan here is,
like, she could not just kill Ruby.
Yeah,
but
she doesn't want that.
That'd be too easy. She wants to make Ruby suffer.
Yeah, she wants to make Ruby suffer in the most horrifying ways feasible, and to facilitate that, she's basically quasically resurrected pretty much all of the closest people that Ruby has known, that she cared about, that have died, or just people she thinks she personally failed, and to continuously dress down on her and echo literally all of the extraordinarily unfortunate fates that all of them felt. And it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But yes, Torchwick, he puts one of the tree's leaves in the teacup, and the implication is, you drink the tea, and basically, you can ascend, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, I need to know.
Yes?
How the hell did Neo find out any of this?
I have absolutely no idea.
Like, specifically the Ever After stuff. Like, how? Like, she read the book, but... Okay.
So did Blake, and she didn't know anything about Ascension.
Yeah, exactly. Because it wasn't mentioned. Like, the only things I will accept is she tortured the Jabberwocker for information.
Yeah.
So, who knows, maybe that thing is still alive? Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, maybe, like, those butterflies that we were seeing were things that Neo made as just like, I'm a spy on them.
Maybe. I mean, it's
Conveniently,
kind of
I can hear everything that my clones hear.
That is my best guess, in which case that is ungodly broken. I mean, it's not impossible to believe that Neo could create some illusionary, like, bugs or something to fly around and act as little surveillance drones around the girls this entire time, and she picked up the information from there, but still.
That's also never been explained.
Yeah, no, it hasn't.
Yeah.
But before things get real bad, two things of note. One is that you see Little crawling around on the rafters up above. Little did not abandon RWBY.
No,
Good mouse.
Whistle followed her.
Yeah, Little is a good mouse. We all appreciate Little. Dear God, seeing all those characters smile at the table is horrifying. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Especially when they get Neo's eyes.
I never thought seeing Penny or Pyrrha smile would give me the heebity-jeebities, but it did! Anywho, we very briefly, check in on the rest of the girls. Yang is deeply confused about why things happened the way that they did.
Which is just consistent with Yang. Like,
yeah, no, this is literally... Yeah.
When it comes to people like going through some stuff, she just wants people to be open with her.
Yeah,
and
we obviously deeply love Yang as a character, but that's always just been a consistent thing with her.
Yeah,
she's very face value. Like, what you see, you're upfront. You say things. And if you're not open, if you don't explicitly open up to her about things, she's just going to make her personal assumptions and stick with them until they're contested. Like, just as a brief example.
That was even the case with Blake when she left. Yang just did not understand why.
Yeah, she could not physically comprehend why Blake did what she did, and she just in her mind she's just like, well, I guess Blake is just an asshole, and she was content to just live with that new philosophy for the rest of her life. But obviously, luckily, that did not happen, but it easily could have. And this even extends to Weiss, who, until Weiss was just open with Yang about her family life, thought that Weiss had a great childhood with a loving family and was just incredibly rich and everything was wonderful for her. And then Weiss had to be like, well, no, actually, I kind of hate my family. That sort of thing.
My dad admitted he only married my mother for like the name and the advantages that would bring on my birthday.
And you can even, if you rewatch that scene, you can see it in Yang's face. She's like, oh my God. Like, that's just how Yang is. Unless you personally are willing to open up to her, she's just going to assume things. And that's exactly what's happening with RWBY. RWBY never opened up about her deep insecurities or fears or worries. So, for the most part, Yang didn't even consider the idea that they existed.
Yeah, and it's because, like, how RWBY is to everyone. Like, she's, like... They even talk about it, like, whenever they're going through some stuff, RWBY is the one they can rely on to, like, pull them back up. Yeah,
not just they. This is Weiss bringing this up, because this is how Weiss do, okay? Weiss, over the course of this franchise, has become deeply in tune with her friends and their emotional states. And it's undeniable, at least from my perspective, that while I think, Yang and Blake might have had some eyebrow moments with RWBY, I think that Weiss was the only one of their group that fully understood that RWBY is definitely going through some things right now. And, I mean, you can tell because she wanted to talk about it a little bit during the beginning episodes of the season, and RWBY just walked away. And the problem was that Weiss wanted to help, but literally couldn't figure out the right way to go about it. And So if Weiss couldn't help Ruby through that particular part of her life, the least she can do is help the others understand exactly why what just happened. And it's like you said, what Weiss says, it's just that for all this time, we've basically been relying on RWBY to basically be an emotional pillar that brings us all up whenever we're at our lowest. That's just how it's always been, and we always talk about how we rely on her and how we trust her and how eventually those kind of expectations are going to weigh down on her. And while Yang says, well, then why didn't she just tell us? Weiss says that maybe RWBY doesn't think that she was able to. Maybe she thought, well, they're relying on me, so I can't show weakness. And that's going to wear down anybody.
Yeah.
Weiss is best girl. She is considerate. I make it, and in a couple episodes that make me big sad, she is able to make me slightly less big sad. And obviously, Jean is reacting to all of this information as well. As like, with every passing moment, I regret yelling at her even more. Ugh. Anyway, then we cut to the illusionary versions of all of the people that died brutally beating the ever-loving tar out of RWBY.
Oh, and I think I just know it.
Yes?
Huh.
What did you notice?
Clover does literally nothing.
Yeah, no. Clover is literally the only character in this entire ensemble that literally does nothing this entire scene.
Honestly, this entire episode, like, he's just there.
Yeah. You could say the same for Lionheart, but at the very least, he's aiming and shooting his weapon at RWBY right now.
Yeah.
He never says anything or gets up in her business, but at least there's something there. Clover literally just stands there.
Yeah.
But
yes.
But it's very important that I point this out. When I say they beat the ever-loving tar out of RWBY, I mean, it is actually physically hard to watch.
Yeah, like, her aura gets broken, and there's a moment with the penny illusion.
Yeah.
Which, I imagine hurts so much more for some.
Yeah. But like, just briefly is like, Pyrrha says some things to wear RWBY down basically, and she's the one who, destroys the chandelier that destroys RWBY's aura, and then Penny comes in and just like, I died, and do you have any idea what it's like to be failed by the person who means the most to you in the world? And it's just like, Jesus Christ, you don't need to be doing this. Really, you don't.
And immediately after that, Torchwick starts choking her.
Yeah, and I don't like that. Then Pyrrha smacks her around and slams her into a wall.
Ironwood just punches her and slams her against the wall.
Like, no, let me sell you something right here, okay? Let me sell you something right here, all right? I need this to be very adamant, okay? Right now, RWBY has no aura. Absolutely none. Zilch. This illusionary Ironwood punches RWBY so hard in the gut, she flies into the air. Jesus Christ. And the Ironwood clone basically says, have you ever stopped to think that maybe you're just making literally everything worse with all of your best efforts, as RWBY is desperately, basically through tears, trying to say that she's just trying to do her best and help everybody. And all of these people that she thinks she failed are yelling at her about how badly she screwed all that up. Oh, no, don't worry. Just in case you thought everything was, totally just fine and dandy and it wasn't going to get any worse, then Ozpin just bludgeons her with a cane.
So
Thank
much
God
so
that
the shock from it shakes the teacups on the table and the remaining chandelier.
The greater majority of these hits aren't shown on screen, thankfully. Although eventually it does cut back to RWBY, and she is like, bleeding and cut up. And then, for the pièce de résistance...
Reaches for Crescent Rose, finally strikes back, only for Neo to turn the Ozpin clone that she just attacked into Oscar.
Yeah.
Who...
dies.
Yeah, bleeds out and dies.
Again, it's not the real one, but I just want to point out, Jesus Christ, this is a disturbing image. And I wanted to just very briefly say, we talked about this for a moment, that this episode, it really got to both of us, for all of the obvious reasons. But, I said, and you basically agreed that while I enjoy Oscar as a character, I really do, he's a great dude, and seeing this, like, legitimately, like, made my blood run cold, had that been literally, and I mean this, literally any member of Team RWBY, I think I would have had to have stopped the episode and, like, just stop for a while.
Yeah, I think I would have had to do the same thing.
Like, not just if it was Weiss, if it were Blake or Yang, if it were any of them, if I had to see the light from their eyes fade and bleed out on the floor like that, I would not have been able to finish the episode, at least not then. God.
Yeah, same, honestly.
You know, just in case you wanted things to, you know, not get any worse, then all of the other clones transform into all of RWBY's remaining alive friends, who are horrified at the fact that she just murdered Oscar. It just keeps going.
And then Neo puts the tea in front of RWBY, just encouraging her to
kill herself. You can dress it up however you want. That is literally what this is. This is. There's a warning at the beginning of this episode because of this.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We've talked a bunch about Neo and what we think her ultimate fate at the end of this volume might be. Personally, I was neutral on, like, her staying in the Ever After or dying. Like,
either or.
Was neutral on that. This episode, however, this changed my perspective of Neo entirely. It went from, okay, so she's going through a lot. It's partly because I just don't tend to feel sympathy for villains.
Yeah, I have a hard time doing that too. I just sometimes the only villains I can accept becoming good are the ones who have done comparatively more minor things.
Yeah, or at least show remorse, which Neo has not.
Yeah, she has literally never done that.
Yeah. This act, like, no. There is nothing you can tell me about Neo that will make me think that she's anything other than an absolute vile human being.
She is. Like, I don't care what her backstory is. I don't care what justification. I don't care what psychiatrist talk would reveal. She is rotten to the core, and there is no going back.
Oh, you had a terrible upbringing? Yeah, so did Blake.
So did Weiss.
Oh, you lost someone that, you loved. RWBY, right there!
Literally sitting, lying on the floor in despair right now. You literally used the people that she loved dying against her. Have I ever mentioned that I'm also not super big on hypocrites? Tell you. Anywho.
Yeah,
as
no,
RWBY is... Yeah.
I'm honestly just, like, full on against, the idea of, like, Neo going back to Remnant at all now.
Yeah.
Like...
No.
No, absolutely not. Like, she's either got to stay in the Ever After, or just flat out die.
Yeah, she needs to be gone. She needs to be gone from this franchise by the end of this season.
Yeah, after this act, there is no redeeming her.
No.
And if anyone tries to say, like, oh no, you can, like, not after this, for me.
No.
Like, look, goading someone to doing that, that's a touchy thing. It's also basically why, I'm just gonna admit this now, it's a big part of why I can't stand Bakugo and My Hero.
It's just something you should never do.
Yeah.
Anywho. To not dwell, we'll just keep going. We've got more to do.
Neo gets blasted.
Yeah, and that's fun. I appreciate that. It was the cat. The cat came and blew up Neo, and or at least blew her away for a while. And RWBY is obviously not doing too great. And the cat's all like, "Hey, yo, don't worry about that. I'm gonna help. Psych, I'm evil!" So, hey, just in case anybody was, getting on my case about, hey, why are you being so distrustful of the cat, huh? Well, why do you not trust the cat? The cat's been nice. The cat's been doing good things this whole time. Why would you think the cat's not going to be a good guy? I had a feeling and I was right.
Well, after Akechi, we just hear Robbie Damon. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Look,
although
he has played good guys, and he'll play more good guys in the future. But no, I'm sorry, but after that, after Akechi, you're just gonna sit there, and every time you hear him, you're just gonna be like,
I don't know.
Until this series is over, and you haven't done a single thing, I ain't trusting you.
I will just call out like a thing he posted. It's just like 2 decades of voicing good guys, nothing. Voicing 2 backstabbers 7 years apart from each other. I'm never gonna trust a character you voice again.
For what it's worth, he is absolutely loving that fact.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny.
It is actually hilarious, because he's only done this twice, but it's enough to color his entire perception as a voice actor in the general community.
Yeah. I would just say, props to the dude, he's bloody good at it.
Oh yeah, no. I may detest Akechi, and I may hate this cat, but what I can't say is that this man is not a phenomenal voice actor who sells the ever-loving hell out of it every role he's been given.
Yeah,
so,
in fact, like,
credit and kudos.
Look, this cat is awful, but okay, I mean as like an entity.
Yes.
Like, just in terms of voice acting alone, I say Robbie, like, of the new voice actors we've had,
yeah,
Robbie Damon steals the show.
Absolutely, no, fantastic work. So, the cat basically reveals its long-term plan. It wants to get out of the Ever After and into Remnants, because it is cursed with eternal curiosity, and the fact that it cannot learn more about Remnant in itself has driven it to madness.
Yeah, and, well, the cat also mentions that they're cursed with an undying need to know everything.
Yeah, and the fact that it literally is incapable of being able to has been wearing it down for however long the Ever After has been a thing. Considering he literally calls out the gods that created him, I'm guessing it's been a while.
Yeah, so, looks like the brothers created this place, then Remnant.
So, that's a thing. And, so also, here's the thing. Yeah?
I just thought of a dumb joke to make out of the cat's endless curiosity.
What's that?
What do you think would happen if you got them into DC Comics? Or Marvel, like, whichever.
I think their head might explode.
Just like, oh, now I have to look into this universe. Okay, but now this one. And this one. Oh, but then there's this reboot.
Literally infinite. It is too much. Anywho, so basically, what the cat wants to do is, as is hard confirmed a little later, but we can just say right now, Ever Afterans can't leave the Ever After. So, basically, what the cat was trying to do this entire time was subtly manipulate RWBY into giving up on just about all things, essentially, to weaken her resolve and heart and soul so that he could literally body jack her and then use her body to escape.
Yep, and we find out...
Which, by the way...
Tried to do the same thing with Alex.
Yeah, that was its entire thing. And just for the record, by the way, looks real painful!
Mm-hmm.
Looks real painful! Just as the cat is about to do this, however, Little takes a heckin' chomp out of that cat's tail, and delays things just long enough, although Little does get smacked for it, but delays things just long enough for Neo to jump in, and very, sadistically is like, yeah, okay, I see what you're doing over there, cat. You wanna basically kill Ruby in order to, steal her body, yada, yada, yada. That's all cool and everything, but I want to murder her, and I want to murder her the way that I want her to be murdered.
Yeah, and, by the way, if you thought I was being a bit harsh on Neo for thinking she's an absolute vile person, then this scene happens when Little is trying to tell Ruby, to get up, and look at that face. And just... Okay, I'm probably not showing it in the video, but, I mean this, to you. Just the face Little makes before what happens.
Yeah.
And Neo stomps on Little, even to the point of twisting her foot multiple times, and smiles about it.
Yeah. So, Little's dead. Really, and hey, remember when Ruby literally said that if Little didn't stay away from her, they would probably end up dying? Ruby was basically already about to just completely give up on this entire situation when she accidentally killed the illusionary Oscar, but now after this, there's literally nothing left. You can see it in her face. She is well past the point of being able to think with rational thought.
And then this happens. Everyone makes it. But
the rest of Ruby and John. But they can't get to her fast enough.
And well, yeah,
Okay.
Ruby sees them.
She's too far gone.
That, and there's also the possibility that she might believe they're illusions.
That is actually possible. Considering the emotional trauma Ruby has gone through, it's hard to say. Also, look how dull her eyes are when she's looking at them. It's basically a face that says, sorry guys, I love all of you dearly, but I can't do this anymore.
And then there's that shot of just Yang's eyeball.
Yeah.
As we see her do it.
Yeah, because that's something we definitely needed.
And ground opens up and takes Ruby, Crescent Rose, and Little.
Yep. For all intents and purposes, it's really important to make note of the idea that, from Ruby's perspective, I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume she thought this would just kill her.
I think so, yeah.
As has been said multiple times, there was no guarantee that people who aren't ever Afterans would ever, be ascended or whatever the hell. So, and considering just how incredibly broken emotionally she was, it's safe to assume, and that is... Ugh. Anywho.
Now that Neo's actually got her revenge...
She doesn't seem to have really actually gotten anything from said revenge.
Yeah, because now it's just she has nothing left. She's basically empty. Because this is what revenge is. It's like...
That's how it's always been.
No, doesn't actually fix anything.
So basically, she dedicated her entire life to Torchwick. Essentially. That is what she did. He died, and then her life purpose became get revenge on whatever she deems to be the reason he's not around anymore. Now that she has done that, she basically kind of just shuts down and kind of just sits there. Boy, I sure don't like seeing these reaction shots of Team RWBY. That's depressing. Good God.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm glad Yang has Blake, because honestly, just look at the way they're holding on to each other. I don't think Yang would have been able to hold herself up otherwise.
No, it looks like Yang was about to fall over.
Yeah.
Which, considering the emotional reactions we've seen of Yang over the years, that's new. Ordinarily, when faced with things of this nature, Yang is one to run forward, not fall to her knees, which she was about to do. Good lord.
And the cat's freaking out because...
Yep.
No, that was my potential host. I need her. But... Nope, she's gone to the tree. Nothing we can do. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, there's my whole plan was about breaking a person so that they wouldn't care if I stole their body. Oh, hey, look, a broken person who won't care if I steal their body.
Dibs.
Yeah, and, shoots a big-ass, weird-ass lightning bolt at everybody to make sure that nothing can stop it, and then forcibly crams itself down Neo's throat.
I do want to call out, a detail.
Sure. Why not?
Alright, so when the cat, like, blasts, everyone, it's super hard to spot because you have to go at it super slow-mo and, like, pause constantly. Blake throws herself in front of Yang.
No freaking way.
No, she does.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try real hard to get this. Oh my god, she actually does. Wow, yeah, no, if you pause it at the exact moment, she's literally, like, goes full on in front, arms spread out to protect her from the blast. God damn. You know, good freaking luck getting anybody to notice that. God, these animators.
Yeah, I mean, the day the episode came out, I saw a bunch of people calling out that detail and even, like, making slow-mo GIFs.
Yeah, like, good lord. Anyway, Neo eats a cat. I don't feel bad.
Nah, nor do I, really.
I really don't. I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh man, I mean, sure, Neo was a bad gal, but she didn't deserve..." Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I will call out this detail. It's just like, when it just shows her eye, you can see the veins. And it's just like, you know she's like next level terrified of what's about to happen, but she's also not really stopping it.
Yeah, no, I mean, she lets it happen. She could have put up... It's clear that if you resist, you can resist the cat doing that, so she let it happen.
Yeah. Also, I just want to call this out. People try and say, like, oh, Jean tried to save... No, he was just trying to stop the cat.
No, he was not trying to save Neo. Get out of here with that bullcrap. It was just didn't want the cat to get whatever it wanted.
Yeah, which is a body so it can get back to Remnant.
And also not just...
it's been there before.
Yeah, and hey, not just that, but also, as we very quickly learn, the cat basically gains all of Neo's abilities, and that's obviously a hotbed of problems.
Yep, and I think even the cat even still has its own abilities.
Yeah, no, it basically is it's basically a true fusion of Neo and the Curious Cats. And in fact, okay, here's really hoping that I remember, because we're about to get into the next episode pretty quickly. But there's something about that I want to bring up. So just make note of that. I'm going to try real hard.
You know what?
But, yeah.
Doesn't this kind of make Neo like the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat in one character?
Essentially, yes. And then the Curious Neo flies away. The episode ends, we are emotionally shell-shocked, and we all just kind of sit there thinking about our lives for the next hour and a half.
Yep, and just praying that the next episode isn't as ungodly depressing, because after that...
It's impossible for it to get darker. But yeah, no, that episode, there was, honestly, even comparatively, like if you look at the runtime of how long we've been talking so far, sure, it's our usual blowhardy amount of time, but we're basically done with the episode, and there's only so much we could literally else to say.
Especially because we have episode 9 now.
Yeah. So, like, that's why. We didn't think we could do it, and now we have episode 9, and we're gonna go into episode 9,
also,
which gives us answers and questions, but answers.
Also, I think we should bring up there is another aspect as to why we couldn't do just an episode 8 video.
Go for it.
That was because of your neck.
Yes, also that.
Yeah,
just bringing that up. Yeah, okay, so it's incredibly stupid, but so I slept really poorly somehow, and I got like a horrifyingly bad crick in my neck that literally made me incapable of sitting up for like even 15 minutes. And without having to lay back down, and it took about 2 full weeks to finally get better.
Yeah, and I don't know about what you're watching, but my friend's health is more important to me than making a YouTube video.
That means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that, but I am fine. All is well. There you go. We got through episode 8. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. It was not fun watching a lot of those scenes again.
No, not really. And I'll also be honest. Like, the first time I watched this episode was the only time I really watched it. Because
yeah, me too.
That scene was too emotionally painful. I'll probably rewatch it when I like binge the volume back.
Yeah, when the volume is done, sure, and when the series is done, absolutely. When you know everything is going to be fine and dandy in the end, but when it you know what the best possible comparison I have for this one, except I guess the best example I have is slightly worse because there was always the idea of ascension and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
When an episode had the goddamn balls to just literally end with Weiss being impaled.
Oh, that, yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, see you next week to see what happens. Why? Like, when you know everything is going to be okay, you can sort of stomach it. But when you have to wait a whole ass week to find out even the slightest bit of information on whether or not something that you care about just died or not, it hurts a whole lot more. That's my point.
Alright, shall we get to episode 9, the penultimate episode?
Yeah, we should.
Alright.
And it starts with a lady reading the book about the girl who fell through the world. But who could this this lady voice?
Oh.
Who this is?
Well, first of all, the narrator from the first episode of this volume. But
everyone's like, man, what the heck even was that? It came back.
Yep, because it's summer.
Yep. It's a flashback of her reading the book to a adorable tiny Yang and RWBY.
Who was sleeping.
And are making the naps. Is cute.
Yeah. I also want to point out the book that she's holding, same book in the opening.
Yes. Very old and worn, too. But, basically, what Summer says is, Alex had a great deal many questions about everything at the end of the story, but the chief amongst them is basically, who was she? As we see a wooden statue of RWBY. Boy. And, well, this episode is better when it comes to not being depressing. And I know that this is an auditorial medium and the others aren't going to be, the people watching aren't going to be able to see this, but very briefly, because I paused it at the exact right moment for this, I'm going to... wait a second.
Did you just try and screenshot it?
No, okay. No, I did. It was successful. Sorry, for a second there, I had reason to believe that I might have accidentally left the call. I didn't.
Oh.
Anyway, I just want you to see this brief screenshot right here.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
As
Yank's face.
Yeah, as the remnants of Team RWBY and John are on Juniper's back and they leave the scene. If you pause at the right moment, they'll have very goofy faces. But Jean,
yeah, like,
very, very deeply confused what the hell this freaking place even wants.
First, Alex, the Paper Pleasers, now RWBY.
Like, what is all of this for? Why is this happening? What is its deal?
Then we come back to where the Paper Pleasers lived, and as Jean still doesn't understand,
little rock person shows up, and it's like, "Hey, you want some food?"
Sorry, I was about to sneeze, but I was able to stop it. Oh god, no, wait.
Okay. Oh. Painful, I know.
Okay, I think it's gone. I think it's gone.
Okay. Well, a little gemerald fellow shows up and is like, "Hey, you know, we're and a bunch more show up and like, "Hey, yo, we're the gems and we're here to beautify this place and make things better." And
Yeah,
it's become, and very obviously, it is the Paper Pleasers, but they have ascended into rock people where water and fire can't hurt them anymore.
Yeah. Which
And it's a nice little hopeful moment. They make a little crystalline structure. It's pretty dope, well animated.
yeah, beautiful.
And the girls are basically able to console John's like they're the Paper Pleasers. They're back and they're better than they ever were. And John basically realizes like that he got so caught up in playing the hero for them that he basically was incredibly selfish and prevented them from doing what it is that they felt they really needed to do.
Yeah, because he wanted that rush of saving someone. Like,
And considering how often he feels he's failed people, makes sense. But then I get to say more because Weiss, yay. Because Weiss is so incredibly good at this sort of thing, she basically decides that she's going to console Jean the best she can. And she basically says that she thinks that, honestly, he put way too much on himself and had too high of expectations for himself, and that they did everything they possibly could. They fought their hardest, they did their best, and things didn't go according to plan. Things messed up. But she is more than confident in saying that the greatest huntsmen and huntresses of all history all made mistakes too. But it doesn't make them any less brave or good.
and I want to add to this by just saying this is coming from the one person Jean did save. We brought it up in this video, like, when Weiss got impaled. Jean was able to save her.
Yeah.
So, when you realize that, this moment hits all the harder.
Yeah. Weiss is an example of the idea that Jean isn't a failure. He can and has done good for the world. And and obviously Jean gets very emotional about this, and it's okay because then she brings it in for a hug.
Blake joins
and then Blake
in.
and Yang also get hugs.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's so cute. So I'm gonna leave it up to you.
Yeah,
how do we proceed from here?
Alright, so
How do you want to play this?
there's something I kind of want to address, but I'll wait until we're at a certain point. We'll get to it in just a moment.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Jean says, I guess maybe the cat was right. It's a place that you know, and we get swarmed by leaves from the tree.
Swarmed by trees, the Ents have arrived.
And then we're there.
Yep, they're at the tree.
because they realize they have to like accept.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about acceptance, basically.
Yeah, the basically the Ever After wants to teach them how to accept failure and problems and adapting and moving through them.
Yeah.
Also, side note, kind of the tree to bring Juniper with them.
Yeah, honestly.
Makes me feel like there's going to be more to that rabbit at some point, if I'm being honest.
I mean, there has to be. So,
Yeah.
everyone's just walking through the tree, and we find Herb.
It's RWBY. He is a wooden statue man. But Yang takes a gander about and discovers a different statue, and it's RWBY.
Yeah, and
Damn near nobody knows what the hell to say about this. Yang
this-
basically, she hugs the statue and tries to rip the leaves and branches off of her.
yeah, thinking that we have to get RWBY out, but she has to kind of accept that she shouldn't, because like this, whatever
It's about
happens
acceptance.
next is up to RWBY.
Yeah.
And
What the choices she makes, whatever she does, it's all her call, and they're just going to have to accept it. And Yang rightfully says, "But what if she isn't RWBY anymore when she comes out?"
Yeah, and look, I called out like Blake for
Go
this in episode 8. Just her being there for Yang right now. Like, Blake is best girlfriend.
She is delightful. I will admit this, and she is very supportive. And obviously, things would have been way, 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 way worse for Yang if she was not there.
Yeah, and
And as RWBY, oh yes.
okay, this is. I kind of want to address this now. I've seen people say that the girls seemed a bit too chipper, like earlier in the episode, considering what just happened.
I saw people complain about that too.
Yeah, and honestly, after thinking about it, I guess maybe it's like, seeing the paper pleasers having ascended and whatnot, it gave them hope. It's just like, nah, that means RWBY's gonna be fine.
Yeah, or at least there's the chance of it.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, they didn't really have time to emotionally comprehend the everything. Basically, the implication is that after the end of the episode and that cat flew out the hole in the wall, they basically jumped on that rabbit and immediately went going. And they just immediately, and seeing the Paper Pleaser's ascension was basically the first thing that they saw once everything happened.
Yeah. I will admit, like, okay, maybe like an extra scene could have helped.
Yeah, I could see that. At least one.
Yeah.
One scene of before they jumped on the rabbit of like, okay, bad stuff happened, but we get to the tree, then, because I mean that's what John said at the end of the last one. He told the cat to get them to the tree, because I mean even at that juncture, there's a part of them that thinks, okay, well RWBY will be at the tree, because that's what happens when that happens.
Yeah.
So, roughly thereabouts. But as Yang asks if what if RWBY isn't RWBY anymore, they see RWBY emerge from his wooden cocoon as a butterfly.
Can we just say, okay, is it Herb or Herb?
I mean,
I think that's I've been calling him Herb.
I mean, I think it's just a regional thing. It's the same word. It's just pronounced differently depending on where you are.
Yeah, but it's just I'm adding an H to the beginning of what you're saying.
I mean, I thought I was saying Herb.
You were saying Herb.
I'm sorry?
At least that's how I heard it. I don't know. It was just I thought was I calling him Herb by mistake when it should be Herb because he's the herbalist.
I mean, I pronounce it herbalist.
Anyway, the caterpillar guy.
Yes, the caterpillar man turns into a butterfly man, and
with
Blake
legs.
consoles and says, "Yeah," and Blake basically says that that's not for them to decide.
Yeah, it's all up to RWBY, and kind of want to just bring up the Herb ascended way before the Paper Pleasers.
Yeah.
And the Paper Pleasers were back before him.
Mm-hmm. So what, did Herb have more stuff to deal with than the Paper Pleasers?
This tree is inconsistent.
Well, I mean, no, I think it depends on the individual, because we cut to RWBY, and it was very nice of the tree to fix her clothes. Anyway, it is nice to see her, and she's in a big sparkly land of green, and she runs into the blacksmith, and the blacksmith wasn't expecting to see RWBY so soon, and RWBY was like, I didn't expect to even be here.
Yeah, and the blacksmith is also putting something together.
Looks like a mask.
Yeah, or the potential head of something.
I don't know what this implies. Do you? Because the fact that you're saying this is concerning to me.
People have theorized that that's going to be Little.
Maybe. Because, yeah, we don't see Little. And at first I was confused, but then I realized that it's more than most likely that while they fell down the same hole, Little probably ended up in a different, situation than RWBY did. As RWBY basically asks if the blacksmith is the tree, and then, they say that, well, that's kind of a simplistic way of looking at the tree. And RWBY ponders whether or not she's going to die, and they say, well, that depends, again, on what you want.
Yeah, and I've seen people bring up, it's clear that RWBY doesn't want to.
Yeah, she clearly doesn't want to die, regardless of what her actions at the end of that. Look, there's a thing, okay? This is such a weird thing to say. It's impossible to know, but I am left to wonder how many people that have done similar things to what RWBY did would have regretted it had they been able to have the chance to regret it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like it's something kind of like that. I feel like RWBY was just emotionally devastated so hard that she made a choice that in most circumstances she probably would have not done or fought against a little bit more. So that's why I don't think RWBY is just immediately going all I want to be dead thing. I've seen people wonder what the deal with that was, and that is my interpretation. But the blacksmith asks, it all depends on what it is that RWBY wants, and RWBY says nothing, revealing that she doesn't know what she wants.
And we cut back to the others.
And there's a big old pulsating thing going on. And they look around and they find a big-ass glowing door.
Yeah, it's the door to Remnant.
Yeah, it's the way back. And we see a cat-possessed Neo smashing into it constantly, not getting very far.
Well, okay, before we get into that aspect, look at the engravings on this door.
Okay.
So, there's 2 dragons.
There are dragons, yes.
Yeah. If you look closely, those are the dragon forms of the 2 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And above that is another tree. Not this tree.
Oh, it's a different one.
Okay, my quick theory as to where this ends up. Okay, now people have brought up, I saw a video where someone brought up that it could lead to the domain of the God of Light.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as for where on Remnant that is, I theorize it's in Vacuo.
Now, why do you theorize that?
Well, because of the book Before the Dawn. There is a flashback to Sun's childhood. He grew up in Vacuo. he and his clan were leaving a settlement due to being overrun by Grimm, and he was all... He's a tiny child saying, no, we should stay and fight, and his cousin was like, oh, come here, you, just... Yeah, it was a whole thing, and...
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, he saw a tree with beautiful golden leaves. He was so mesmerized by that tree, even thinking that is a place I would defend to my dying breath. Unfortunately, because of how everything shifts in Vacuo, never saw the tree again, and no one else saw it, so they thought he was kind of talking out of his ass. But he never forgot the sense of calm that seeing that tree gave him, and that's actually what led him to getting his semblance. So...
this could be a door that leads him straight to Vacuo.
Basically.
Maybe it could be connected to that exact tree.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's gotta be what... Like, they're gonna go through the tree, they're gonna be surrounded by water, they're gonna, like, float or swim up. And... they're just gonna be like, wait, what is it? Wait, no, this place! They're gonna remember because they saw it in that flashback that Jin showed. I mean, except for Jean, he didn't see it.
Yeah, that's okay, but, well, we have things to say about John. Anyway.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna go to Domain. It's gonna be a whole bunch of sand. Because it's in Vacuo. Basically, that's how they're gonna get to Vacuo.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's a very solid logic and reasoning for it.
Yeah. Thank you, Before the Dawn and Sun's backstory.
Congratulations, son. You've mildly been useful.
Speaking of books and characters who got backstory from books, yeah, Neo can't go through the door. And
yeah, she just keeps mindlessly slamming into it. And
the cat is
because
very angry.
Yes, it's very upset, but tries to play it off cool when it notices that everybody else got to the tree. And says, hey, oh, how's it going? And Weiss delivers some truly stupendous sass. I love everything. I love everything about this. I love the delivery. I love the expression. I love the hand gesture. It's like, oh, is your plan to leave not going the way that you thought it would?
And the cat really doesn't like Weiss.
No. So the cat literally says the phrase, "You are always the worst of them." I'm not going to actually repeat what I said when I heard the cat say that. I'll just say that it was very explicit. I got very upset that they would say that to Weiss.
I'll just say bad cat.
Yes. Regardless. I personally theorize that it's because that Weiss was literally the only member of the entire group for the longest time that didn't really want to deal with its, stupid eccentricities the entire time and didn't really give it any leeway for what it was doing, so obviously it resented that fact. Anyway, the cat explains.
Because Neo doesn't have any ties to Remnant, she can't go through the door.
Yeah. She has no desire or interest or willingness to return. And apparently that is absolutely required.
Okay, so I guess... no matter what happens, Neo's not going back.
Yeah, no.
Good.
No, I mean, good, yeah. I mean, okay, so there's a degree of ambiguity, I guess, of exactly the nature of this union between these two. And people are wondering if Neo is still alive in some capacity.
Yeah, if the cat is going to be, exorcisted out of her.
Yeah, or something of that general effect. I mean, honestly, considering how incredibly painful it looked, I was under the way that the cat describes the situation, I was always under the impression that the process did kill Neo, and that she was already dead.
Yeah, I've seen that thrown around by others as well.
I mean, that's just how I interpreted it. I obviously could be wrong. We don't have a hard confirmation about this. But the cat goes into further detail with its backstory about Alex.
Find out some more of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So
turns out
the cat, Alex, and Lewis got to the tree. Lewis went back, but Alex had a last-minute change of heart. She wanted to stay in the Ever After and fix what she had broken, including Jean. And when the cat found out this fact after Lewis left...
Please keep that John line in mind. But yeah.
Yeah, cat finds out and, they angry.
Yeah, no, she, that cat murdered her.
I have some theorizing to do, and I'll do it, afterwards.
So, obviously, the girls and John are disgusted by that, and the cat gets ready to fight. Realizes that Ruby isn't... Yeah?
I kind of want to say, realizing... Okay, ready to fight, makes Neo's arms swole.
Yeah, that is a happening. Grows some big-ass claws, too.
Yeah.
Shout out to the RWBY Twitter, who ordinarily actually makes these really bad jokes that aren't funny in any shape, way, or form. Whoever they have running that thing is weird. But they did manage to do something funny by posting a picture of this version of Neo and saying it was an unrealistic standard of beauty for cats. And that made me laugh.
Yeah. Mom, I saw this weird cat outside. Don't trust it.
There's some weird cat outside. It's got pink hair.
We trust one cat here, and it's Blake.
Indeed. And so they're gonna fight, and the cat realizes that Ruby is still there, and that ultimately, fundamentally, Ruby does still want to go back to Remnant and help everybody, and that once she gets out, or he could just break the thing and take her body that way, whatever. Point is, he'll just hop out of Neo and go into Ruby, bada bing, bada boom. Obviously, friends ain't gonna let that happen.
Nah.
And basically, the cat says that they will murder everyone. Good luck with that. We cut back to the realm of the tree. As they're covered, they see a bunch of these. Why are you laughing? This isn't a funny moment.
I was just thinking the elm of the tree.
There's a time and a place, man.
Sorry.
Ruby sees all of these little green orby things fly around and ponders about what exactly they are, and they're basically, for lack of a better term, the souls of others going where they need to be.
Yeah, and Ruby's wondering, are they still gonna, remember anything? And the blacksmith saw, are you worried for them or for yourself?
Still no answer on that one.
Gonna be both.
It could be a little both. And then we cut back to the fight where they're at, where the team are doing battle with the Neo cats. Yang proclaims that they're not going to let them get to Ruby, and then the cat decides to make horrifying zombie versions of Ruby, and I am not okay with it!
Nor am I. When I was watching
that's
this,
creepy.
I audibly said that's beyond effed.
That is really, really freaky, and if you pause at the exact moment, you can tell Yang is deeply shaken by this. Good lord! And she quickly makes quick work of those horrifying monstrosities.
Yeah, I want to just praise Yang for this, because so many times when people, know something is fake, and it clearly shakes them. No, Yang, knows these are fake. She knows she's not punching Ruby.
It's almost like this exact thing is about to come into play in a few minutes. But yeah, no. Also, hey, Yang's always been a gal who tends to punch first, ask questions later. It's like, I don't know what this is, and I hate it, and I don't want it here anymore. Whether that works out for her is, situational, but in this one, it's fine.
Yeah.
We cut back to Ruby again.
Wait,
And,
I just
yeah?
saw the blacksmith blink.
Yeah,
It has no eyes.
it's got eye sockets.
Why do they need to blink, though?
I don't know. Why does it have hair?
That's gonna keep me awake at night.
Oh, well, what are you gonna do? The ever after is weird, my friend.
You know what, True?
Regardless, Ruby finally just kind of opens up and laments the whole thing. She wants to be the hero, like the storybooks that her mom told her when she was growing up, and she wanted to make the world a better place and fight the monsters and be the bestest hero that anybody could ever possibly be and help people and do all the right things. But as she keeps going through her adventure, things just keep going wrong, and she's doubting herself, and she thinks that everything that she's been doing might just be making things worse. Now, we all know that that's definitely not the case, but
yeah, no, okay.
Hey, you know, depression, anxiety, and imposter syndrome are real bitches, let me tell you.
Yeah, we'll get to that last one later, but
Yeah, when it's more relevant.
yeah. Okay, so, like, you know, I've dabbled in what-ifery for Ruby.
You have.
I have contemplated, like, okay, so say so-and-so wasn't in the story. Yeah, you take any of the 4 main goals out of the story, Salem wins.
Yes.
And the world ends. Like...
Yes. And literally, if you remove Yang, you remove Blake, you remove Weiss, or you remove Ruby, any one of those 4, the other 3 aren't enough. They, all 4 of them need to be together.
Yeah, and look, you can, like, finagle, like, ways they could feasibly get through, like, various volumes. Look, you take Ruby out, the other 3 are not getting through Volume 6. Like,
They would pretty much they would have just been fully disbanded and never had any real inclination to get back together.
Well, I was thinking more so, like, the apathy.
I know. Yeah, I know the apathy, but you get what my point is.
Yeah.
I was trying to look back on a situation that didn't end with them all dying, mate. Because I don't like thinking about that.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But yes, the point is, Ruby has done a lot of incredibly good things. She just isn't capable of realizing it right now.
Meanwhile,
And she worries, and she worries that the person that she is isn't enough for what she thinks needs to happen. And the blacksmith asks, "Well, what if you could be somebody else?" And makes a bunch of weapons show up.
and then we cut back to the fight.
Yeah, this is all okay. This is important because it's relevant to my personal. It's not really. I don't know if I can call it a theory. It's more of a hunch, a thought, a bunch of small little breadcrumbs that lead up to a piece of bread, I suppose. Okay, so Jean is talking to the cat and saying that, you know, you're basically just a horrible monster and all that business, and the cat basically says that Jean was never, you know, a real knight. He was just more fairy tale nonsense. Jean briefly gets the upper hand. The cat transforms into Penny. That's a split second long enough to stop Jean from being able to attack the cat. Understandably. And because this particular writing team are pure evil, a illusionary Pyrrha shows up behind Jean. And, okay.
Yeah, it looks like it cuts him in half, but doesn't.
That spear, I've slowly frame by framed it, my guy. That damn thing does go through him. You could say it's all purely stylistic, but either way, even if it is meant to be taken as purely stylistic and nothing more, the fact of the matter is, it's clearly meant to be a very powerful strike, right? Like, it's clear that it's supposed to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Jean barely flinches.
Yeah, his aura doesn't even flicker.
Not even remotely. Then the Neocat kicks Jean through the Pyrrha clone, which... Ugh.
I've only just realized it shatters, like...
Yeah, that's fun. and totally not reminiscent of her actual fate at all.
Was even thinking about that. Then this happens.
And then Weiss notices that Jean's in a bad way, tries to help out, sends a huge fireball over to the cat. The cat gets out of the way. Fireball hits Jean. He falls off the tree.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes?
No, you know what? No, you go. You go.
Okay. So, in this episode alone, we learned that Alex wanted to go back and fix all the things that she broke, including Jean. Now, we learned in an episode earlier that Jean got poisoned by Alex. Now, I was under the assumption, because non-lethal poisonings are totally a thing. But, with this new information, and you added up to all of these other things. One, that Jean says that the Paper Pleasers basically found Jean and fixed him up.
Well, Juniper did and brought him to the Paper Pleasers.
Right, Juniper did, right. But the fact is, he needed fixing up, is my main point.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that Jean becomes incredibly hyperfixated on being a hero and being the Paper Pleaser's knight. Then we also hear the cat say things about how really he was never a real knight. He's just fairy tale nonsense. Then you take into the matter of the fact that attack didn't really seem to do much at all to him, really, when you feel like it really should have done a little bit more. Even with all of Jean's aura, come on, that was very clearly meant to be like a super shot. I could very, very, very easily be wrong about this. I will own up to it. And I don't want people to think I dislike Jean, because I obviously don't. He's a great character and a great guy, and I don't want bad things to happen to him. But I posit the theory that Jean might have already ascended. I think he may have died when he was poisoned. And honestly, I think this kind of goes into a small theory about yours at this point. Now that it helps enforce it.
And I'm actually thinking of another theory based on something else that we don't know exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, so Juniper finds Jean and brings him to the Paper Pleasers and everything, and he becomes the, for lack of a better term, their knight, essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm pondering, because if Jean did ascend, he wouldn't know, because it's possible that he didn't want to remember that aspect, because again, you don't remember everything about the process. It's still a little dubious on that one. We're not 100% on that.
Yeah.
But basically, if he's already ascended and he didn't have Team RWBY to help him with his emotional foibles, it's possible that he might have made a more reckless decision. What if the Jean we're seeing right now isn't our Jean, but something else? I don't know what specifically, but I think it might be something that looks like him and has his memories. But what if Jean chose to ascend into a version of himself that could be what he wanted it to be? What he wanted to be.
Huh.
Something that's able to take better hits? Or something to that general effect. I don't know. I don't know if the man's made out of straw or stone or magical pixie dust, but I'm theorizing that he's not human anymore. That is my theory.
I only just thought of this as well.
What's up?
Okay. So there's a theory that Lewis was a past Osborn life. And that ties into why Jean was let into Beacon, despite the fact that, his transcript was clearly fake, and
Yeah, and that was always a thing. Is like, how would Ozpin not have noticed that?
Yeah, but if this was the case, then it explains that. It's just like, oh, hey, that's the Jean I met in the Ever After. Like, that's the Rusted Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know he's gonna be fantastic, so yeah, let him in. And this is probably, like, well, I mean, this means he's gonna end up there eventually.
But I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Ozpin has kept information from everybody.
Yeah. But here's the thing, we don't know how long ago that life was, and yeah, time might progress differently in the Ever After compared to Remnant.
Yeah, so until the gals pop out and we get hard confirmation of, like, it's been 2 minutes or it's been 5 years, we don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah,
until we can get confirmation on that, then the Lewis being an Ozpin life thing isn't impossible.
Yeah.
Especially because Ozpin very clearly lived at least one or two of those fairy tales.
Yeah, and when you take that into account, so Lewis was just a kid, would have had to grow up, then assuming Ozpin was the next one.
Yeah,
then,
assuming that alone.
Then, okay, Oz, like, reincarnates from Lewis to Ozpin. Lives that life, and then catches up to Jean. I think if time works the same, Jean should have died of old age.
But if he did ascend, maybe he stopped aging.
What if he's just a morsel?
Like the Ever Afters, essentially.
Huh.
We could be wrong. We could be wrong.
Because we just don't know.
We literally don't know. But look, okay, look. Glasses off, like, straight up, talking honestly, again, I like Jean. He's a great character. I don't want to say goodbye to him. But everything about this season and what they've done with him as a character has very clearly been telegraphing and building up to something. I don't want to think that all we're going to get out of this, and that the only idea RWBY really could come up with for this at the end of everything is, oh, well, you know, Jean fell off the tree, and he ascends, and he gets young again, and dop-de-doop-de-doo, he can just hop on through. That just seems too easy, too convenient.
There's got to be something more to it if they're going with that.
There has to be. Every single season finale of this show has that thing, you know? That hook, that punch to it that you just look back on and you go, you know? And it's just like, I don't want this to just be shrugged off. I want this to hit. I want this to be powerful. And god damn it, Jean not being able to go with them because he made the hasty, depression-filled decision to ascend to a full Ever Afterian so he could be the perfect knight to protect people, and therefore barring himself from ever being able to leave would be that thing.
No, what if that's just happened now?
Maybe it's now.
Because
either way, you understand, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna go into this because when Jean falls off, there's all that smoke, the same kind of smoke the herb made from leaves of the tree, by the way.
Yeah.
So if Jean had ascended, like right there and then, what you're saying could have just happened.
Possible. Would he still make the same decision? Because part of my theory kind of bases on the idea that, you know, because Team RWBY weren't there to help him make, you know, recontextualize his trauma.
Oh,
and
wait.
make realize. What?
Hold on. If anyone who's ascended can't leave, That would mean RWBY can't leave either.
No. I mean, yes, you're right, but that's not what I mean. Okay. I think... Because again, it's what the tree says is, what happens to you is up to you, right? Whether you just pass on, you change to something else, or someone else, or something of that effect, it all depends on your choice. That's the implication that we're given, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the act of ascension bars you from being able to. What I'm saying is, I think Jean took a deal to turn himself into something that couldn't.
I mean, there could be more to it, but like, if you need a tie to Remnant to get through the door, Jean has that.
You're not wrong. I'm not saying I have to be right. I'm just saying, doesn't all of this just seem weird and fishy to you?
A bit.
Like, I'm not saying that this is absolutely what's going to happen. Like, anything could happen in the next episode. Jean could just jump back up. He's fine. I am fine. Everything's good. Or he could ascend and get young again and everything's hunky-dory and he can just leave with everybody else and there's no problems whatsoever.
I will say, if he is de-aged, that would help something, but we're not talking about that.
No, we're not. Oh yeah, you said you wanted to actually bring that up again. Anyway, but we'll
we can save that for the finale.
Okay, sure. We'll see how everything goes. Anyway, is Jean gonna die or stay in the ever after forever? I have no idea anymore. I at one point I thought that I did know, and I was very certain. And I feel like all of the pieces are in play to facilitate this as a tragic moment, or even a mildly hopeful one, where he's able to see them off and wish them the best and give the regards to everybody back home. There are a million things that could happen. I'm just saying, I personally would feel more emotionally satisfied by something that's kind of tragic in that way, and not just have all of this kind of just get mildly swept away. That's all.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the finale brings.
Yeah. Anyway, I just hope that it didn't sound crazy or stupid, that's all.
No, it didn't.
Okay. That's all I ask. Anywho, that was a big tangent and I apologize. RWBY's still going through it though.
Yeah. Like, she asks, like, who wielded this? And the blacksmith's like, well, I forget the exact line, and it'd be easier if Crunchyroll had subtitles that worked.
I know. But it's not, the important thing is it's not who wielded it, but who could wield it. And you just gotta figure out what it is that you want yourself to be. You've got those options, and this raises so many questions. RWBY just... I mean, okay, well, RWBY says that everything feels heavy, and things haven't not felt that way for a long time, and she doesn't know what to do. And for some reason, she sees Summer's weapon.
Yeah, when she says that she's not enough, the blacksmith's like, well, how do you measure enough?
And clearly, that's meant to... She measures it through her mother. She reaches for her mother's weapon, and the episode ends.
Yeah. Okay. This is where I am gonna bring up a thing.
Go ahead.
Alright, so there's a theory from multiple people that RWBY's gonna become Summer.
In some shape, way, or form.
And
take on, or at the very bare minimum, not become her, but take on aspects of her. As that was actually very briefly, very briefly. That's something I wanted to say. I've seen some people say that it's weird just how much the Curious Cat has become so much more significantly vitrilistic and sadistic. And while it did do some of that while it wasn't a part of a fusion, I am currently of the mind, and maybe it's going to just be a headcanon forever. It very likely will be. But I'm of the personal mind, and I choose to believe that when the cat basically fused with Neo, their personalities sort of melded together as well.
I could see that.
And the reason why it's extra super sadistic and single-minded and kind of mwahaha villainy is because that is literally what Neo was this whole series. And it's just shining through more. Anywho, sorry. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
RWBY becomes Summer.
Yeah.
In some way.
I personally don't think that should happen.
I do not either.
And I was watching a video talking about this, and this person brought up how... Do you remember back when I said that, RWBY did like this episode 1 watch party, and that some members of RWBY said that, episode 4 was their favorite to work on, or episode 7? I completely forgot about this, but they mentioned a theme that they're going with throughout this volume. Imposter syndrome. That's what RWBY's struggling with. She doesn't feel like she's worthy of the role that she has. Like, she feels as if she isn't enough. She's idolized Summer, built up this vision of her in her head. To her, Summer is the perfect hero. And she's trying to live up to that. Even having outfits that do have some of Summer's elements to it.
Literally, she's been wearing Summer's emblem this entire series.
Yeah. Now,
and you are of the mind that
having her become Summer,
in some way or another,
would kind of undermine what you really should do with an imposter syndrome story.
Basically, if RWBY were to adopt even more elements of Summer into her existence, to the point of basically quasically becoming her, not one-to-one, she would still be RWBY, but, take on aspects of that, of her mom, then wouldn't that basically be the same as justifying and confirming all of her anxieties and fears this entire time?
Yeah.
It's basically, she was right. Her fears were right. She isn't good enough for this. What isn't right for this role? She's not gonna cut it. She needs to take on elements of some other person in order to be able to be good enough. I don't like that idea.
Yeah. Nor do I. What I like the sound of is she talks to Summer in the next episode.
And if you're about to ask, how's that supposed to work? That doesn't make any sense.
It's
What's
the
Summer's
ever
weapon?
after. I ain't gonna explain shit.
Yeah, exactly, but at the same time, okay, well, then explain what Summer's weapon is even doing here. If you're gonna try and tell me she can't freaking Mufasa herself into this situation to give her some kind of brain pep talk somehow, if you really think that that's impossible, then I don't know what to tell you. Plus, we officially real deal 100% confirmed Summer's physical appearance and voice.
Yeah.
I feel like they're probably gonna use it.
Yeah, give us a full scene and just have Summer tell RWBY, no, even I failed in the end. You, RWBY, you are enough. And you're not doing this alone. You have...
What?
Your sister, you have friends. You don't have to shoulder everything by yourself.
What better person to properly convince RWBY that she is good enough and that she can do this than literally the one person in her life she idolizes more than anything else?
Yeah, and I'm also just going to throw this out there. If that scene does happen, that's going to hit me so hard.
At the end of the day, pretty much damn near almost all of RWBY's characterization goes back to her relationship with her mother. The person that she wants to be, the person that she has been, the person that she dresses like. tries to emulate in almost all ways is her mom.
Yeah.
But if Summer could perhaps convince her that she herself is good enough, that even she is fallible, and that that's okay, then maybe the giving away of the symbol is a sign that RWBY is going to take on a more independent version of herself. Strike her own proper path that doesn't walk so firmly in her mother's footsteps anymore.
Yeah, like becoming her own person.
Still taking inspiration from her and looking up to her, sure, that can always still remain a thing.
Oh yeah, totally. It's just she wouldn't be trying to be Summer. She would be trying to be RWBY.
And I feel like that would be more emotionally resonant. It would, because that's what, like, RWBY becomes Summer. RWBY has been trying to become Summer since the first episode. I guarantee if Summer was still alive, RWBY would be running around with a telescopic axe instead of a scythe.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I think literally the only reason she has the weapon she does is because, well, that's what she was taught. Yeah. Tai Yang taught Yang, and Crow was there to help out and pick up the pieces with best he could. And, well, he couldn't teach her how to use Summer's weapon, so just taught her how to use his.
So, a scene I really, really want in the next episode, like, the whole talk, and it's followed up by RWBY being asked, "Who are you?"
Mm-hmm. And
she has her "I am." Look, okay.
Yeah.
The moment that the other three had, she gets to say it. She wipes the tears from her eyes. Says, "I'm Ruby Rose." We cut back to the tree version, which is starting to crack open. And I am a huntress.
There you go. There you go. That'd be good. Now, keep in mind, she could still physically change. At least a little bit.
Yeah. What I would like, in terms of like her changing, is... Okay, specifically the outfit, don't change like physically or anything. What if she deviated a little away from Summer's style? Not completely, but like just a bit.
For the first time ever, yeah. RWBY wears pants. She has forsaken the combat skirt. Weiss in shambles. She alone stands that title.
Hey, you know what? Blake and Yang can rock these. Why not?
Gotta make some humor. But, yeah, like, hey, if you want to show off her Vacchio design before that whole season even starts, well, there you go. That's what I would do. Yeah. That's how I think. Yeah.
Obviously, she'd still have Crescent Rose. Like, no.
Yes,
we're not getting rid of Crescent Rose.
No, that's, I mean, the entire season has been building up her being able to take it. Like, it fell down with her. I assume it's somewhere in there, and she'll pick it back up.
Oh, yeah, she's absolutely going to pick it.
It probably has her part of her proclamation that she is who she is.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Alright, so we've got to have that. Find out what's happening with Jean. Find out what happened to Little. Because they were building up Little's purpose, like, since the first episode.
To Ruby Rose is your purpose?
Yeah.
It all comes back. It all comes back. But yeah, no, Little's got to be something.
Yeah.
There's also going to be some revelation on what the hell Alex turned into when she died.
I have 4 candidates. Okay, each of them do have their own problems.
Yes.
Okay.
None of them make perfect sense.
Yeah, but the most popular one seems to be that she is the blacksmith. Okay, if the blacksmith is tied to the tree, wouldn't that mean the blacksmith was around before Alex? And if the blacksmith is what does Ascension, then what the hell was doing Ascension before Alex? So that has its own questions, but it does lean into Alex wanting to fix everything that she broke. That's basically what the blacksmith does.
Yeah, she fixes broken things, basically.
Yeah. I'm going to be calling back to the whole idea of fixing for the last one. The next one is Juniper. Because she wanted to fix Jean. There is no mention of Juniper in Jean or the cat story.
Yeah.
And the buckle that Alex has, it's a rabbit. So it's possible she ascended, became Juniper, and went back to help Jean.
Which would play into my theory, is all I'm saying.
Actually, would that then mean that... Well... If those who have ascended can go back, would that mean Juniper can go to Remnant too?
If it wanted to?
You know what? I'm down for that. Introduce Juniper to the rest of Juniper.
Yeah, keep the bunny mouse. Maybe?
Also, that's just going to be helpful
John,
traveling back, Hilo.
Yes, also, but at the exact same juncture, I mean, okay, John doesn't actually have to technically be there for the rabbit to continue forward, but my point is, I'm just saying, it would emotionally hit both beats. You'd get the happy, joyful, uplifting part of Ruby being able to accept herself, become a better version of herself, and continue forward to be the hero that we all know she can be. And you get the sad lows of John not being able to come with them. It would be the perfect mixture of the good and the bad.
Okay, so candidate...
But yeah, go ahead.
Candidate number 3, Little. And this is mostly because, okay, so Alex is Alice. Alice's full name was Alice Liddell. Liddell. Little.
And when you get over to the fact that Alice in Wonderland as a real world book was written by somebody named Lewis, obviously the names mean something.
Yeah. Although it's kind of weird that Ruby would name them Little.
Yes.
That's...
Again, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, any one of these could be made perfect by proper revelations in the finale. We'll see.
Oh yeah, totally. Including the last one, which is the Jabberwocker. And the reason I latched onto this is because in episode 3, before Neo landed, when it ran back to its acre, it was saying... Well, okay, first, it cut itself and bled.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
And it was running around going, searching, fixing. Which
we have established is what Alex wanted to do.
Yeah, so I need to know what the hell the Jabberwocker was trying to fix before Neo showed up. Like, please reveal that that thing is still alive.
Don't just drop that, whatever that was. That had to have meant something. Come on.
Yeah, otherwise that's just... Oh. But then again, I don't know if there is enough time in the finale to, like, really explore that.
I have no idea. The finale is going to be, like, what? Somewhere between 14 to 17 minutes? No, actually, it's going to be, like, 24 minutes, and 6 of them are going to be the credits. That's usually how these finales work.
I think I heard from Eddie that... Well, okay, I heard this from Proboscis, who heard it from Eddie.
Okay.
The finale is, like, 25 minutes.
Okay, well,
And
assuming
that's-
6 of those minutes are the credits, roughly 19 minutes. Oh, wait, no, cut 2 more for the intro. Then you get about 17-minute episode.
I can't remember if that isn't counting those.
I mean, you could just kind of look to other finales to figure that out.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, and there's also the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's gotta have, which... I'm calling it. It's gonna be the reveal of Lewis being a past Ozpin, and like after writing the book. It's either that or they get to Shade, and I don't know, stuff's going down. Like, those are just my thoughts. Yeah, and another reason I thought about Alex being the Jabberwocker is because the idea is that the Jabberwocker's purpose is to eat the curious cat. And the cat said that if the Jabberwocker eats an Afteran, they can't ascend. The cat was next level terrified.
It really was.
So what if, because the cat murdered Alex, Alex also wanted to stop the cat? So she became a being that could. And remember when the Gulls found the Jabberwocker in the first episode? It attacked Blake, who's part cat.
Residual hatred of cats.
Quite possibly. But, well, the Jabberwocker was supposedly in the story. And John mentioned that there's only meant to be one. So...
who knows?
Yeah, like... unless, like, Jean killed that Jabberwocker, then Alex became the new one? I don't know.
I have no idea. Literally everything we've said could be exactly what happens, or it could be an entirely new thing that we didn't even think about.
Yeah, or who knows, maybe Alex is just dead.
Maybe. We have no way of knowing.
Okay.
Throwing my arms up here. I don't know what.
Oh, I just realized I didn't bring up the blue butterfly symbolism.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Blue butterflies symbolize rebirth.
Oh, there you go.
And considering we've seen that around RWBY a bunch. And... oh! No, this was a thing that I heard Lindsay talk about.
Okay.
That this volume, RWBY is gonna get what's essentially her final form.
Well, that's subtle.
So... yeah, this all lines up.
Man, these actors, they just let these things fly, don't they?
Yeah, well, I think they said so to speak. Like, I don't really know the exact wording, but I just remember final form being brought up.
Right, I get you.
Yeah, and okay, so I made these just for this.
What's that?
I made 2 polls the night before we did this.
Ah, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Alright, so we talked about Neo's fate. And I went ahead and made 2 polls for the finale. What you want to happen to Neo and what you think will happen to Neo. At this point, we both are just like, either stay in the ever after or death. Like, no, let's, like...
Turbo dead. Turbo death.
No,
Porta potty. Do the throw her in there. Just do it.
Yeah, I'm actively against her turning good after episode 8. And before anyone says Emerald, at least Emerald showed remorse. Okay. Which result would you like to hear first? Think or want?
Go with the want. Go with want.
Okay, so both polls had 3 options. Goes back to Remnant, stays in the ever after, or death. The results are as followed, with a total of 32 votes. And I just want to throw this out there, both my YouTube audience and Twitter followers, when it comes to RWBY, not as big as you might think. Most people stick around for Death Battle, anyway.
Regardless.
I appreciate everybody just acknowledging that the RWBY section is like look, if you did this with someone who's more popular when it comes to RWBY, it would probably have different results.
Yeah, but it also wouldn't be anywhere near as fun for me, so I've made my choice.
Okay. The results are as followed for what do you want to happen to Neo in the Volume 9 finale. Goes back to Remnant, 34%. Stays in the Ever After, 31%. Death, 35%. That is hella close.
It is.
Now as for what people think will happen to Neo in the finale. Goes back to Remnant, 18%. Stays in the Ever After, 36%. Death, 46%.
Even people that want Neo to stick around are like, nah. She gonna die.
Yeah, if nothing else, like, the cat's gonna die and, like, she's gonna go with it.
Gonna get 8.
That's assuming the Jabberwock is even still around. Because, like...
I choose to believe that it is.
Actually, yeah, in theory, they don't even have to kill Neo. They just have to wait for RWBY to get out, and then they just go through the door.
True. I mean, they wouldn't be able to follow them.
Yeah, so I guess they don't have to kill Neo. There we go. RWBY gets out of the thing, they kick the cat's ass, and they're just like, peace out, mofo. Leave.
Later, nerd. Yep.
And the cat just, well, has this body.
Have fun with it, I guess. There you go. That's pretty much any and all possible theories or anything I can think of, really.
Yeah, and
I look forward to literally every single one of my theories, ideas, and assumptions being all entirely wrong.
yeah. Also, of course, we still gotta get, like, you know, one more scene of RWBY and the others, just like,
Yeah.
you know, having a moment.
When they're on the rainbow elevator back to Vacchio. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, so I guess this means we're gonna have to say goodbye to Lissel. Like,
Yeah,
in
more than
whatever
most likely.
form.
Whatever it is, Little is ultimately, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. The finale is too far away, my guy. It is Wednesday, my dude.
And the finale is on Saturday.
Why can't it just be yesterday? Then we would already know.
Hey, at least you're not at work when these come out.
True, true. That certainly can't be a great feeling in the tum-tum.
No, last week it was not. Let me tell you.
I bet. I bet.
Especially the last hour or so of my shift.
Eh. Well, I suppose that's just about everything there is to say.
I suppose so.
Alright then. Well, the finale will happen when the finale will happen. We'll be here to talk about it once we are able to see it and either be extraordinarily excited or recovering. Who knows what we're going to be experiencing.
Hope, but... Well... let's be hopeful. Like,
Yeah, that's all we can do.
prepare ourselves for the worst, but hope for the best.
That's what I always say. See you then.
Bye.